V'zehu, and this is the meaning. So he's talking about the two levels of the skalulus, the chabrus of the midos, and then the hamshachas, the oir rav, which comes to bring from higher from chokhmah into chokhmah. He talked about the level of das, which reaches up to the meiches timo, and through that great gilui brings it down. And now he touches. This is also the meaning of the pasuk. Zehu oy yachzik b'mauzi. If you hold on b'mauzi, my strength, which is Torah, it says two things. It says Yasser Sholem Li and Sholem Yasser Li. Yasser Sholem Li makes Sholem for me, and Sholem Yasser Li. He's going to say these are the two madregas. Yasser Sholem Li, the first one is the Sholem above. The Gemara says Pamalia Sholmaila, Pamalia Sholmata. That is bringing down from the level of Keser into the level of Chokhmah to be Mamshich, the great light. And then you have Sholem Yasser Li, the Skalus of the Kelim. Pirush. Yasser Sholem Li, Usholem B'Pamalia Sholmaila. That is in the heavenly academy. Hainu, or the heavenly above. Hainu Chibur Chokhmah Bina. That brings together Chokhmah Bina Shehem Yudkei. That's the first letters of the Shem Havaya, the Yudkei. And that is done, accomplished through what? Through the level of Torah. That's Yachzik b'ma'uzi. You make the Sholem Li through the, which is the Das Elyon. Ha'oisa Sholem Ha'elyon Hanal. That brings about that Sholem, as we said before, that the level of Das goes up till the Avira Shal Kruma the Chafya Moiches Timo, which goes higher than Keser, the Gilu Oy Rav, that brings about the connection from Chokhmah Bina. V'hu Aidei Hamshachas Oirisof Mel Mailo Ma Chokhmah, by bringing down the level of the Ein Sof, which is higher and higher than the Chokhmah, Sheyeh Nimshach b'Chokhmah Bina, so that it extends into Chokhmah Bina. So from the first level, the supreme level of Sholem Nasa Gamkein also becomes Sholem Atacht, the lower level of Sholem. As the Pasuk says, Kikeil Deis Havaya. Says a plural. Keil Deis Havaya. So we're talking about here the base Deis. So both of these views, the views of Chokhmah Bina, the Chokhmah law, and then also as it goes down to the lower levels. So the base Deis, which is Das Elyon, and Das Tach, Das, which is the Das Elyon, Amchaber Chokhmah Bina, the Das Elyon, which connects Chokhmah Bina, but Das Tachten, Hamechaber, and the lower Das, which is Mechaber Hamidos, Lias is Kalos Hamidos. That is in order to bring about the Hiskalos of the Midos, which is Chesed Shebi Gvura or Gvura Shebi Chesed. That's the second one. V'zeu Inyan Hiskalos HaMavur L'Mailo. This is the Hiskalos we said before, Shelo Yiyah Midos B'chinas Amfin Nispardin. So that the Midos should not be separated branches, each one separate, but Hiskalos together. B'chinas Hiskalos. To include the left and the right. To be So before we talked about the human being, we talked about the person. Instead of being in one level of midah, one level of kas, through the hamshachas hameichin, now he's going to explain the way it works l'mayla. To explain this above. Hainu ki yesh gevura b'loy chesed. Sometimes we have above, we have the Eibishter does just Gevura without Chesed. In other words, when the Eibishter sometimes punishes, that's Gevura, but there's not included Chesed. There's no benefit from that punishment. So that means just pure punishment. Sometimes the Gevura comes, but it comes with a with a purpose, with the cleaning, so it's not just Gevura, it's Gevura Shebechesed. Washing down, when the Eibishter punishes the Goyim, the Mitzrayim, and the Ramabels, over there was just destruction. Yeah, there was a benefit to the world, but for them, it was just destruction. But when Hashem sometimes cleans the Pagam, it's a punishment, but it's not a punishment for destruction. Interesting, very beautiful explanation. Sometimes there's Gevura without Chesed. Take the generation Mabel. They were punished because of their sin. It wasn't meant, they did not get fixed through the Mabel. They still don't have a portion of the world to come, meaning that they weren't fixed. The same thing with Anshi's Doim, which got a Mabel Shel Eish, they got a Mabel of fire. The Eibishter rained down on them in the cities of. They have no chelik in the Mabo. The Mabel came to over there. There's no inclusion of midas. Punishment was as is. There was no benefit. It was just destruction. Also the Mitzrayim, there was no benefit of it. Now, it says, Pasuk still says, what does it mean, no benefit? It says when the Rishoyim are destroyed, there is song. So it seems like there is a benefit. We sing for their destruction. So he says, there is a correction for the world benefits. But for them themselves, that's called Gvura B'li Chesed. So that's on his kalus. Lamaila, if you want to talk about his kalus, that's just when the destruction. But there's another level. The one Hashem loves, he rebukes. Yisurim Shalav. Those are pain of love. Yisurim Shalav. Just like you wash the child. He's screaming, he doesn't want to be washed, but it's for his benefit. It's not for the chet, just to clean him up. Why? The chet is forgiven besides the washing. But you got to fix it because he's dirty. And that comes, it's a kindness, it's a chesed, it's tikkun, but it's gevura in the chesed. So therefore, it comes out, you have to wash, it has to be in a way, express itself in a way of a gevura that expresses, a chesed that expresses through gevura. So that level of iskalus comes through the level of moichin. Because the level of Netzach Yisov of Ema, which is the level of Moichin Chochmo Bina, Ema is Bina, become the Moichin, they become Lezo. In other words, when you're Mamshich, the Moichin into Zo. And by the Torah, Yachzik B'mo Usi, through Torah Meis V'Toisus Moichin, you bring up additional Moichin to Chochmo Bina from the higher level into Chochmo Bina. Through first bringing the level of Yashem Li, which is Chibur Aveim, the Chibur Chochma Bina, Ba'achar Kach Sholem Yaseli, and then Sholem Aveim, Nasu Mechem Lazot, from Chochma Bina becomes Mechem Lazot. Li is Kalalus Habab Ksove, so that there should be the inclusion of these 6 corners. This is Midas. Sham Shochazu Gamkin al Yidei Torah. So the Amshocha that goes down to the Skalus above Ktsoves within Zoh is also through Torah. Shabov al Yoda Mamshichin Memeichin Davo Bezoh. That in her and through her, through the Torah, in the Torah, through the Torah, we bring down the Meichin of Avo into Zoh. Torah brings down the higher level from Das, the level of Keser into Chochmah Bina. And Torah also brings down from Chochmah Bina or from Bina into Zoh. And this is why Rav Shimon Yochai said, he says, I have the ability to exempt the whole world from judgment. So what does it mean that he can pata kolum kul min adin? Because we say judgment comes because there's no moichin over there, but when you're mamshich moichin, so then there is no judgment. Then it's so because Rav Shimon Yochai was able to mamshich such a higher level of moichin, so that's why he can be mevatel the din. But the ribu moichin the gadlus shehimshich, because he draw down so much moichin the gadlus. And the Torah was his craft. So mitzad. And also from the mitzad sherish nishmosei, milas nishmosei shoya mila man bebechinas gavaya meid. So he was able to bring up the mayin nukvid, the feminine or the surus l'tata, to a very high level. Ubamshochas meichen de gadlus ma'atzmos chochma ilah. He took from a place, from the essence of the Chochmah law, which is higher than the Chochmah that is Mislabish Midas. That was able to be done through Rashbi, who's Terosum Mnosei, was able to bring down an additional level into the Chochmah because he comes much higher than Chochmah. And when we did that, when you're at Mamshich, that level is Batlan Kol Adin Ukula. Then all the dinim are mevatel. Just like we're saying before, that his kalus brings the bait, it takes away the midos, takes away the dinim. This is the idea of Yizgadal, Yizgadal Shmei Rabba. Make it big, the Shmei Rabba. Or V'ata Yigdal Nakoychad. That means to bring down a lot of Meichin the Gadlus, a lot of intellect, and therefore the dinim are nizbat. V'ayim me'inyan yasa shalom lichulu b'parshas b'midbar kufit ches aleph u'b'pirush haramasha u'b'parshas vayikra daf yidala domid beis v'ayim hashakos bir al-posik kois vorchas b'nei Yisrael gabe inyan v'yosem l'chol shalom v'al-posik v'yim hashmini hatzeres. So now he's going to try to say a little bit of a different twist over here with the Yasser Shalom Li, Shalom Yasser Li. But the problem is that it's not going to go in the right direction. It's going to go Mamata Lamaila instead of becoming. Right now, we're learning first is Shalom Pamalia Shalmaila through the Chachmo Bina Iskalus. And then eventually, there is the Iskalus of the Midas the way it comes in Zoh. But he says there's Efshel Loimar, Efshel Loimar. Possibly we can say Shabbei's Bechinas Shalom Elu. That these two levels of Shalom is Inyan Beis Bechinas Shabbatikun Haniskun Lamaila. Maybe these are the two levels of Tikkun that we mentioned before. Before we said the Hainu is Kalus HaKelim. First, it's the Kelim that they are included one another. And then through that, and because there is so much kelim, so there can be a big amshachas oil. So, so it turns out that you have the das elyon, which is the ribu oil. And that's tachten the Iskalus HaKelim. So this would come out well. That was it. Das tachten. And we have the two levels before we said Das Elyon is Mamshich into Zoh. Das tachten Mamshich Zoh. Das Elyon Is a Meichas Tamov goes from the level of Kesef from higher than Atzilus. And this will come out well with what's explained elsewhere in the Pasuk Maim Rabim. Das tachtanu das hamishpash lechamidus. That's the das which expands to the midas lamshich b'maros chochma bina. So that's to the Zohar to give them the shan chochma bina. Umevur le'il, and we brought down before. Shayidei shamidus misnagim. Ayidei ameichin chochma bina. That through the fact that the midas are conducting themselves according to the Meichel Chochma Bina, that's the way the midas are included. That is the tikkun eskalos hakelim. That's the sholem b'malya shel mata, is through being mamshich chochma bina seichel into the midas, and then the midas go according to the seichel, and therefore there is a eskalos, so there's no objection from one midas to the other. What is v'das elya? Uhanimshach mebchinas kesef. That comes from kesef. Umamshich mebchinas kesef b'chochma bina b'ches v'gvura cholayin. And that brings down kesef mamshich l'chochma. Zeu inyan hamshachas tev seirim chadoshim. And this is the idea of bringing down new lights. And this will be the Sholem b'malya shel mayla. All seems fine and good. Further, Rabbi Chaim Shalmem Aleph Perik Zayin, the Chochma Nikra Chayoyi. Chochma is called the Chay is the Oir, V'Amidas V'Gam Bina, and the Midas also Bina, which is Ema Bonim, is called Nikra Garmoyi. Chayoyi Hainu Oir, V'Garmoyi Hainu Kelim. The Chayis is the light, and not the Kelim, which goes Mokomacha. The Hainu Lefisha Chochma Gama Kli B'chinas Bit Legamri Kochma. Why is Chochma called Oir? Because even the Keli of Chochma is called Kochma, and it's bottled. So that would mean that the Amshocha in the Kelim is from Bina. That's the second level, and the first level would be the Keser and Chochma Bina. However, it says Miu Einem Yushav Lefi Loshen HaPosuk. This has not really come out good according to the Loshen of the Posuk. Because the Mashma, over there it's Mashma, from the Posuk it's Mashma. So Mitchila Nasa Sholem Elyon. Ba'achach Sholem HaTachton. First becomes the Sholem Elyon, then the Sholem HaTachton. So therefore, but over here we're saying basically that you have the Kelim, and then you have the Ribu Kelim, then you have the Oir. The main thing is like we explained before. So Inyan, the idea of Yasa Sholem Li, Sholem Yasa Li, Yudke. First you bring down the light and the level of Yudke. ונקדשתי בסדר בני ישראל. וידע שלמר. Further say that day mitzvahs nasi tikkun hakelim. Through the mitzvahs become the tikkun hakelim. That brings this kalos hakelim. By day Torah mamshichim ha'oir. That way you mamshich the oir. Mashikosu kineir mitzvah v'Torah. So the oir comes from Torah, and the neir, which is the lamp, the kelim is tikkun hakelim. By Mashikos with the Ramaskara Isi, Vinera Zov Kula. Gimel. Just as it is the idea of the tikkun above, Liyas scholar should be his conclusion. Likewise, those in the nefesh, the Inyan is kalalus. Chochma Bina, which means in the soul, the koiches of the soul. This is kalos of Chochma Bina, Chochma together with Bina, ubchinas moicha v'liba. That is the mind and the heart. Okay. In essence, the heart and the mind are two opposite. When you get so excited, the heart, then the mind is diminished. That means the depth, the grasping, the depth of the reflection. So when there is major excitement in the heart, takes away from the brains, from the reflection. On the other hand, when you come to the mayach over there, the fire of the heart is diminished. That's cool, collective, the idea of the mind. Is kalus, and you need to have iskalus, you need inclusion. So on one hand, liya is mayach shalit al halev. You need the mayach to dominate the heart, so that the heart should subdue itself to the mind. To conduct himself according to the conduct of the mayach, to be with all your soul, which is like the Lecha Hashem, nafshi esa, I carry my soul to you. So while you have the tefillah, the excitement, but you need the intellect to take control. V'hainu, and that is the when the person learns Torah. And then we have the idea of Betzel, which is on the level also Dvarei Beficha, Ubetzel Yodei Kisisicha. So that way you bring down, extend from the Mayach to the Lev, through the story to the Shema, Gilui Eir, we bring down the Gilui Eir Sof Chachma, the revelation of the Eir Sof Chachma. This is the Shalom and the connection of Chachma Bina. The Inyan HaHiskalus B'midos. So that's Chachma Bina together. That's the higher level of Yasa Shalom Bina. Inyan Hiskalus B'midos. What is the idea of Hiskalus B'midos? Midos say Eitz Hadas Tevara. Midos come from Eitz Hadas Tevara. Ki b'chozer the Zoh Mistayim Yisoid Ema Shom Maschil B'chinas Eitz Hadas Tevara. Because in the chest of Zoh, which is the level, in the level of the Midos, over there ends the Yisoid Ema, the element of Ema, level of Bina. And over there starts the B'chinas Eitz Hadas Tevara. So we have to make sure so that the Iskalus, Habidos, Liyas, Klulim B'Toiv. So how do we include them in Toiv? Why they are Torah? That is through Torah, because Torah shall have the Benatome V'Chulu. The Torah tells us what is Tome, what is not. And the Torah is what sorts out. Ubir Hamidos, why they are Meichel. And the sorting out of the Midos comes through the Meichel. So first, it's the sorting out between Bina, between Chochma and Leiv. Here within the Leiv, within the Midas, to be the Bir HaMidas. Why they are Meichel? That comes through Meichel. Kayidei, Toisvis Meichim, because through the additional Meichel, Nase, Iskalus, becomes Iskalus. The Meichel comes from Abba, and that brings about a Iskalus of the Midah. Lochein, going back to explain now the Posik in the Parsha Ksiv, that it was Moshe Rabbeinu had to take revenge of the Midyanim, and only afterwards can he. The Zayin Umos, that took place later on. But the level of Midyan, which is the level of Toihu, and that needed to be taken care of from Moshe Rabbeinu. that can only be done through Moshe. Even though it was already, he was been already decreed the penalty that that he has to pass away. They waited for him until he'll take revenge. Why is it Moshe? So it seems Moshe, who you said Abba. Moshe is the element of Abba of Chacham. That's why we call him Mechoykek. So what is the Targum? Mechoykek, the Targumai, and the Targum teaches them Safra Rabba, that he is the great scribe. It says Vayar Reishis Loi. Reishis Loi represents Chochmah, the great scribe. So he has the level of Chochmah, but he also married Bina. But you needed to come through Chochmah, through the level of Chochmah. That's the meaning of Mechoykek. Shu Chakikas v'Tikun HaKelim. Mechoykek means also that you grave and you make it into a vessel. Liyas Ribu HaKelim, that there should be lots of Kelim. V'ayidei Zayir Ribu Hoyer, there'll be a lot of Hoyer. V'ayin Mashikos Al-Posik v'Mechoykek v'Mishanesom. V'Al-Posik im B'Chukoysai v'Dibra Maschil Mevuer Beitz Chaim. Ki hinei Hamidyonim Midyon comes from the level of Pirut which precedes Tikkun. Like we said before for the Zohar, they weren't face to face, they weren't on top of each other. So he says, Shalachein, Arichizman Churban Beis Hamikdash. Midyon means of separation, division. They don't get together. It's no apim ba'apim, there's separation. That's why we have such a long time of the Churban Beis Hamikdash. Because of Sinas Chinam, because of hatred. Without any reason. So that means Pirud. Because it was Pirud, Lemashkin, that's why we have so much long Golus. Because of the high level of Midyan, the high level of Toyu, which is this discord. By the Churban Beis Rishon, that was from the 7 nations. Those are the Sigim, the imperfection of the 7 Kelim of the Toyu. They remain Sigim after the Tikkun Birur. Everything that was sorted out and was included in Kedusha, the Sigim, those were the 7 nations. So everything was Bevadir, Lekach, Via Kli, so that's why. According to the Kli, Hoyo Hagvul, that's where there was a limit. The days that we have there is 70 years, which means the Golus lasted for 70 years. What it means to say, what does it have to do to the 70 years, the 70 from the person? So he's saying, so he's explaining the parentheses. That just like there's a limit, and it's sufficient. So the nefesh ha'mamish of the person, it's sufficient to sort it out. That through the 70 years, in those 70 years, the person can sort out the spark nefesh ha'mamish. That's taken from the sediments of the 7 meters of Toyu. So how long does it take to be mevarer all these nitzutzim? Those are the 70 years that the person lives. Those are the 70 years. So likewise, according to this, just like you mentioned, In order to fix the sins that because of those sins that the base edition was destroyed, is Gam Kibbe Misparayin Shana. It's also the number 70 years. B'tamanal, for the same reason of above. Shalebirur Hasigim Shenistairu. Because in order to sort out those imperfections, the sigim that were left over from the kelim, you have 70 years for Zaymidus. That's when we deal with whom? With the 7 nations. When we deal with Midian, which is in the level of Toyu, the discord, Sinas Chinam, there's no end to the Golus. It's such a long Golus. That it should go from the Olam HaToyu to Olam HaTikun. That takes a long time. But Tzorich Li is Bechinas Moshe Yesod Abba. You need the Moshe, the base of the Chochmah. Mekoid HaTorah. He's the source of Torah. So that's what Moshe has to do that battle. Shekol HaTorah, Torah is Moshe. So it's all Moshe. It's called Torah's Moshe. Before Matan Torah, Yisrael was from Midian, as he mentioned earlier in the Mamer. So he came to subdue himself. Because first, Hashem Yivorech Sameh Basholim, Sarusa D'Le'elo Shalifnei is Sarusa L'Tato, which precedes the Sarusa L'Tato. So you need first Midian, you need first the Kohen Midian, you need first Yisrael to come and subdue himself. V'ayin me'inyan Yisrael Kohen Midian, Pirush Ramaz B'Zoyerish Parshas Yisrael, Daf Samaches, Aleph Dir Maskel, Chamui D'Yetzu Chulu, Ein Shom, Shem Likutei Torah. Zeu Nikmas Havai. And this is what we're saying, the revenge of Hashem. Or the revenge of Hashem. Ki koidem hatikun. V'olam hatoyu. Before tikun in the world, ki koidem hatikun. In the world of Toyu, Loi hoyu shemes elu. Ekev Havaya. Alakorim b'shem nechroim k'meshikosu b'zoyar. So therefore, it's a tikkun for Shem Havaya, because now we're bringing down Shem Havaya. Because before they didn't have the Shem Havaya. That means you're correcting the Shem Havaya. V'inyan l'chol matos Yisrael. Why are we saying all matos Yisrael? L'chol matos, not mikol matos, and also ve'icholzu, which means kulchem. Why ve'icholzu kulchem? Shekulam hoyu tzrichim l'chomazu. Because we all need this war. Liyo is bechinas skalus, to be in the skalus. That's why Shlochein hoy b'mei Moshe. That's why it had to be Moshe, because it was all Yidden together. So because there was a difference. Sheb'mei Moshe b'mei Yeshua ha mechomas b'klal Yisrael b'yachad. During Moshe and Yeshua, all the Yidden fought the war together. Mashenkel achakach, we say Yehuda Yala, that each tribe fought himself. They weren't together. That was the war. The war, this is the war we need all together. In order to be included all of Yidden, which are the 4 corners of Zeirampin, of the Midas, which is Machne Yehuda Mizracha, that's to the east, Chulu, and the Reuven Timona, those are the separate levels, the Ktsovis, the different places where they camped, and the different midos of Zoh. So over there you need it. Ub'shem Elokeinu Nidgal. And B'shem Elokeinu Nidgal, that is who Aidei Moichen the Abba. Shemasham he is Kalus. From there comes his Kalus. Yasa Sholem Li. Sholem Yasa Li. Thank you.